Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here. Get ready for Gnosis. Well, the saga of the United States Psychotronic Association continues. And of course, it gets deeper and deeper in the dirt as we find out that this organization is so questionable that it's virtually comical. As we start looking at the people who are involved in this organization, I've done several different informs. And this is very important to the public to know who these people are. And a lot of people they've duped into giving talks for them and paying them money. And all the different things that this organization's been doing for many, many years, now led by a high school gym teacher, Scott. So But what's even more amusing is the fact that nothing checks out with the people that are very active here. Of course, we know that the gym teacher is a long history of his boring, yeah, I'm a high school teacher. I'm so advanced. So the whole idea is that we know the story on Scott Bulick and his what appears to be all sorts of strange connections. Government connections. They allow government agents, people who have been connected to the government. They allow people to put up false information up there that's no longer valid. And what's interesting is the president, Mr. John Climo, while there's a lot of the posting you get up there to verify somebody who may not even be real. So there is information there. There may have been interviews on shows, but none of these websites work anymore. Climo, the pro tem president website, is no longer working. Very interesting for a guy who's supposed to be so involved. And this guy is basically a psychologist who got his way through school by being involved in graduate programs that have absolutely no way of verifying whether they're really good for anything. Creative arts, helping people learn. I mean, this is all well and good, but certainly there's no technical ability here, and he is considered the expert on channeling. And in metaphysics, channeling is pretty much the bottom of the barrel, even though I do find it interesting as a person who has been involved in the occult sciences and has a doctorate in the occult sciences, a highly trained person, unlike this person who got trained at a regular college in psychology. But let's get back to one of the most interesting people. And, even the name should tell us that this person is most likely. I allege that these people and this organization is nothing more than a governmental disinformation controlled organization. That's what I allege. Can you prove anything? Can you prove anything in life? Well, pretty hard not. And of course, they go through the trouble of posting stuff, but all of it doesn't add up. First of all, let's talk about Gail E. Wind. Now, she added the E in. Most of the time, she just calls herself Gail Wind. Did her parents name her Gail when your last name is Wind? No, I remember a person that I talked to, her name was Moss, and they were having a child, and I said, well, you should name your kid Pete Moss. Apparently, Gail Wind, and of course, adding the E in there to make it not look as so much. But of course, we can't find anything on her in her state of residence of Vermont, other than a little listing, the typical things they place up there, particularly a lot of these people that are involved in, and I'm not saying that there is with this person per se, but, all these criminals that do things, they place these little things up there to kind of, and she's got stuff, of course, she's on LinkedIn with one contact. Yeah, you think you could try a little more, Gail, to make it look like you're real? So nothing here points to anything except really suspicious and possibly very fraudulent activity by all these people. But we can't find anything on her, basically. I'm trying to track down telephone numbers, addresses, etc. And probably we'll hire a private detective to look into her because this is very, very suspicious. She claims that she was an executive assistant. What does that mean? Not really sure what that means for a company that is closed and has been for many times, ran by a Pakistani. Numia Medical Devices, which there's even a little picture of a company that was there maybe years ago, but the all indications is, including their telephone number, that is disconnected, and their statement online that the organization is permanently closed. The company is permanently closed. There's pictures of some building there, but that could be anything. After all, that had to be put up by somebody, most likely Gail E. Wind. That goes with that. So all of this is something that is very, very suspicious. So this executive assistant nonsense is quite interesting because it's totally meaningless. I stated in past that most likely that she was the wife of the person who owns that, Eric Flashbart, but who knows? We just don't know that because executive assistant, I don't know what that means. She has no technical abilities. She knows nothing. There's no educational background on her other than just being a representative of whom. It's very interesting as we track all of these people. So there's really nothing on her LinkedIn account, which goes nowhere, does nothing, has no followers. Here's a person that's involved in an organization that she claims she's been involved with for 40 years, has no contacts, is in an organization that's very public and still knows nobody, has made no contacts with anybody anywhere. Are you hiding, Gail Storm? That would have been a better name, wouldn't it? Instead of Gail Wind. So the whole idea is that nothing adds up. Now, the company that she claims she works for, which has been closed for some time, is an LLC, apparently filed in, from what I can tell, and again, I'm not going to spend hours and hours, but apparently out of Nevada, which is where a lot of these things go, there is a letter being traced, which is another interesting governmental connection, that they had contact as a medical instrument company with the FDA and have official posted up there. But basically, the letter that's posted up there is another one of those things you'll find on the net that is easily put out there and means nothing. They supposedly were making infusion IV technologies. Don't believe it, but whatever. That's what it says. And of course, you write to the FDA, you fill out a little form and say, do we need to be regulated? And they send you back a letter, which is exactly what that is. This is basically a form letter stating that they are not really under FDA regulations and what they're doing at this particular point. So another cover letter to kind of make it look like they're a real company operating. And let's get back to the person who owned that company, Eric Flashbart, who now is running, who is a Pakistani apparently, and has a company in Pakistan and some sort of probably P.O. box in the United States trying to sell a non-invasive blood purification for dialysis patients. I'm assuming this is some sort of, it's not invasive, it's not filtering the blood. I'm assuming this is some light energy that purifies the blood from the outside. These are not new, and claims that this kind of inexpensive technology works well. It is unlicensed in the United States. He can't sell it here, even though he has some sort of pseudo office here to try and raise money. But he is based out of Pakistan. Apparently, he's a Pakistani who has, I'm assuming, changed his name so that he sounds less Pakistani. His company name that he's working out of Pakistan now is Bion Ice, Byonyks. What a name is that? How bizarre. Medical devices out of Pakistan. So that's the person that Gail Wind is connected to, and nothing else can be found on her. You know, if this doesn't reek of government disinformation agents, I don't know what does. And of course, the government has been involved with this organization for many, many years, and they track free energy people, radionic people. And of course, the Psychotronic Association has welcomed them in for their entire history and have kept out anybody that really has good stuff and has something to say. And if you are producing something that's extremely effective, they'll make sure they harass you, and they'll make sure they give all the information they can to people that will harass you, the intelligence and criminal agencies that unfortunately are too prevalent in the United States. There's good people, but good people are generally leave these companies, these organizations, law enforcement, etc., or are so impotent they can't do anything. So it's a long, bitter story of how this. But here we go again. Nothing checks out. No addresses, closed companies. Nothing is updated. Nothing is posted on her fake LinkedIn account. There's no history there. There's no nothing other than her name and one follower. But, this gets even worse. Even gym teacher, Scotty Boy, has very few contacts for somebody who's been in this industry for as long as he had. I think he has 300 connections in an organization that's doing well. But, of course, they don't know how to anything business-wise or not. This is just, I allege, this is all just set up as a disinformation organization. It certainly shows that. You go to the YouTube channel and they have like 8 videos up, and they're all really bad ones. Instead of getting the information out there, which basically costs them nothing to do and to draw people to the organization, they don't do any of that. They have hundreds of cassette tapes they could put up there, hundreds of videotapes, and they won't do it. And because they have no business skills at either. I'm a gym teacher. I want to smell underwear. So the whole idea, let's go look at somebody in the shower. This is the kind of mentality you have running through this organization. And then they put on people that make illegal medical claims, like they did with Peter Ranetti, a person who is connected to the Department of Defense and is working in computer security, which are people that are really problematic. I had one of these people hassle me a few months ago out of Texas. I'm computer security. Yeah. So the whole idea is that's all the nature of these things and how it actually goes. So it goes on and on with this. And of course, to be that irresponsible as an organization is really sad. And of course, that's what they do. And when good people come to them that want to try and assist and do things, well, they make sure they harass them. And of course, Gail E. Storm. Gee, that should be, wasn't that in a Marvel comic? I think so. So, as I said, connected to this Pakistani strange medical production company with technologies that aren't really used anywhere in the world to speak of except in Pakistan. It all just reeks. Let's talk about John Clemo. I think we've covered Gail E. Wind. Get the next adventures in the new Marvel comic, Gail E. Wind. Spy. Working for whom? Oh, it's a great Marvel story. So, all of these things are very, very strange. And of course, like everything in life, I don't know what you can prove, period. But these are my opinions, and that's what I allege. So the whole idea is we also have the John Clemo, who's now the pro tem. They can't get a real president because the other guy's too busy in the locker room. So the whole idea is that we look at these things, and so he is now the pro tem, and that doesn't check out. Apparently, this guy has done some work and considers himself the foremost person in channeling. And channeling, of course, is the most discredited area of metaphysics you can think of. So all of that is a reality that is quite interesting that he should be studying this. He claims to have all these degrees and everything else from Rutgers and worked in psychology. And again, it's psychology. It's not in a science, so to speak. I guess psychology is it's brain science, but the bottom line is he has no physics background. He has no engineering background. He has none of that stuff. And this is one of the problems of somebody that's running this type of an organization, which claims to be very technical in one aspect, at least that's what they were, particularly in the 90s, has somebody that's basically very, very metaphysical. And has studied metaphysics and is in creativity and learning, all those things you get degrees in because you spend a lot of time in college with other people that really aren't too bright and don't have too many skills, so they go into psychology and creativity. He set up an entire group of creativity. Well, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I mock that to a degree, but the point is that his website is down. There's no way to contact him. I can't find any emails because I was going to contact him and tell him that the organization that he's represented is doing illegal acts. They are claiming cures. They're putting people on there that say they can cure you. This is 100% illegal. And this is the reason that this organization should be shut down and why I will be making a complaint to the FDA. So the whole idea is these people are acting illegally, putting on bozos. People like Ranetti, who quote well-known Satanists, who have actually written chapters of books that are put in satanic books, which is Charles Cosamato and his ilk, which are on there using his technology that are all Satanists. And apparently Ranetti has no problem with that. Ranetti has all sorts of strange contacts, but he's a guy that's stating how many cures are out there while he's sitting there with a horrible autoimmune system disease. He has Hashimoto's disease, terrible thyroid. He's horribly overweight, and he's sick in general, but he tells you how everybody else can be cured by his stuff. So it's just horrific. But getting back to John Climo, the bottom line is that you can't really find this guy. Where is he? What is he doing? He's such a specialist. He's so much into channeling, but you can't really find any way to contact him. They talk about him being at certain places and giving, again, the profiles that are posted up there. And these are what you do when you set up fake identities and so forth. You'll even write fake books, get him on shows, and I think he's been on one show, Coast to Coast, one time. You'll get them posted on there saying their academic credentials, etc. And this is how you verify, because people don't really, some people like myself will look to find whether is there a bed, a bed spread on that bed, meaning is there something on the top of it? And then, of course, some people will do that. Other ones won't even look past that. So I'm going to be doing some further research as well here, but, most people will just grab what's easily on the internet and think that this is somehow proof because anything can be posted on the internet. Looks official, looks great, but it is worthless. So we have to understand that and know what's going on. So why does none of this check out? Why is the president of the Psychotronic Association someone that doesn't even have a website anymore? His website is gone. It's for sale. It's his name, but it doesn't come up as working. Why is the company that Gail Storm claims to, Gail Wind, claims to work for, been out of business for years? The number doesn't work. Why is it traced to a Pakistani organization? I mean, all of this stuff, a country that the CIA and other places are heavily involved in. What is all that? What's going on here? Why are they putting such uncredible people? And why are they bringing in yet another person with government contacts in a radionic field like Peter Ranetti? Why are these people there? This all adds up to a really stinking foul organization. The people who are running it are nothing more than a gym teacher, a person who has no credibility whatsoever as the secretary. So, I mean, really, what kind of trash organization is this? And why don't they have a regular president that is active? They list other people on the board, and of course, they're very irresponsible people as well. So, the Daniel Taylor, who claims to know radionics, was interviewing or hosting Peter Renetti, and this guy obviously knows absolutely nothing and let Renetti make all sorts of basically illegal and criminal statements, telling that cures with no proof whatsoever. He's done no research in this area. Someone tells him something and he takes it as fact. That's not research. That's not even good anything. And the garbage that he shows of what he thinks are radionic equipment is just laughable. So here we go, more, and I'll be looking into more people. We know a few of the people on the, but I'll be looking into the rest of these people on the board. That Daniel Taylor person appears to be involved in some sort of programs and has, a lot of education done by institutions that don't believe in anything that they're talking about is basically worthless. Having a certain basic foundations in common physics is okay, but it's also enslaving. And if you're going through these systems to a high level, you're not allowed to think freely. So having a whole bunch of degrees in these areas is meaningless to me. I've met a lot of these people, and they're all brainwashed dummies. The more educated you are, the stupider you are. You are educated in what society thinks is good, and society hasn't solved any problems whatsoever. Not one that I can think of. The more society handles things, the more corrupt things to get, the more decay as we are in right now. The bottom line is that we have no health cures. We don't even really have proper treatments. We have a few okay medications. We have the critical need for this planet is energy to power everything. We have no renewable, safe energy. Everybody's now going, because now we're caught in a bind here with energy, that everybody wants to start building nuclear power plants again. Yes, nuclear power plants work. It's extremely dangerous and leaves horrible waste you can't get rid of. That is toxic for hundreds of millions of years, but that's what your scientists, that's what your well-educated people are recommending. This is sad. And everybody is being told this now. Even Hollywood producers. So it goes on and on and on that they're trying to push this reality to start building more nuclear power plants. So this is really an old, stupid technology, and none of the people here are coming out with anything. They haven't featured anybody of value. Having an event once a year, which has been going on with this organization for over 40 years, has achieved what? Where's the free energy? Where's the great radionic devices? Where are the people being supported? They're not there. They won't, anybody who comes in who doesn't fit what they want, particularly with Gail Wind, they censor you. They say, we're not going to say that even if you're qualified and been in the business for 40 years. That's the kind of garbage this organization and the gym teacher who runs this with the no name, no education. She probably didn't even graduate high school, but we know that isn't her name. Her real name is Think Ratwoman. So the whole idea is that this person is questionable to the highest degree, as is everywhere else. What kind of an organization has a president that doesn't even have a website? There's no information on it. He's written, who cares? He's written some books. His name is on a book. Did he really write that? So all that stuff doesn't add up, but it just shows you the kind of uneducated, unprofessional people that are involved in this horrific organization. And of course, the whole idea is to make sure in the radionic community, which has always been of interest to military intelligence and others, is to get a guy in there who can suck anybody who talks to Renetti about anything. And he came out and stated that, people come up to me with all sorts of new ideas. Yeah, that was an advertisement telling people to come up to him with ideas so that he can then take these and report it to his masters. That's my alleging of this whole situation. This stinks to high heaven. This is something we have to be aware of, and don't be tricked by this nonsense. It's nothing new. This organization's been around for years, and now I know why I never really got much involved with it and why they ignored me, an author of 35 books, including 2 on radionics, having a retail store, having ads everywhere. Where were you guys? Well, none of them were there. So the whole idea is that these people are nothing but a front. That's what I allege. Be careful, stay away, and make sure that you let everybody know the kind of organization this really is. Answer some questions, people. Why is all your panel people that can't be located have fake resumes and everything else? Doesn't add up. Until next time.